The song Beyond by Leon Bridges is in standard tuning, capoed on the 6th fret, and otherwise played in G formation chords. I mean, the vast majority of the chords are standard chords. There are a few unconventional things happening in this song, but even those chords are attainable even to beginners. Let me start with this little riff that is at the beginning of the song. It starts with a root note, like just a single root note if you listen to the album version of this or the recorded version of the song. A single root note that I'm playing with my thumb. And the reason that I play it with my thumb is that my first and second fingers can do something different right behind it. But I fret it with my thumb on the 6th string, 3rd fret relative to our capo. And then I bar with my first finger across the 1st and 2nd strings on the 3rd fret. So I hit the single note, and then I jump down here to where my bar is, and I pluck strings 1 and 2 across the 3rd fret. And then I hammer on with my ring finger to the 2nd string relative 5th fret. And then I pluck again to emphasize the barred note. So you get, that's the first part. And then your finger goes back down, your ring finger goes back down onto the 5th fret of the 2nd string. So that's the first part. Root pluck, then. And all of those don't necessarily have to be plucked with your thumb and first finger. As you play it more, you'll probably recognize that it's going to be easier to play some of them as hammer-ons and some as pull-offs, like, or either way, that is the first set of movements. And then coming out of that, there's another little quick run of notes. That's it. So here's the next part. You've got the, and then with your ring finger, put it on the 3rd string, 4th fret, pluck it, slide down to the 2nd fret, and then pull off. So you got, and then the last part is to go with your 2nd finger. So put your 2nd finger down on the 4th string, 2nd fret, pluck it, and then pull it off, exposing the open 4th string. And all that comes together. I'll play it very slow. So for up to speed, it would be more like, and then after that it jumps straight into the first chord of the song, which is going to be a G chord, a standard G chord. And that may take some practice getting the riff and then going straight into that G chord. So once you get into the G chord, you've got a place of the song that gets pretty simple because it's relatively repetitive. You've got a G chord that drones for a little bit, and then you'll hear it switch from this G chord to a G, like a suspended G chord, where you take your 2nd finger and you place it down on the 4th string, 2nd fret. You leave your 3rd string open. You take your first finger and you put it down on the 2nd string, 1st fret, and you leave your ring finger and your pinky finger in these G positions. So really you're taking a G chord and placing elements of a C inside of it without shifting your ring finger or your pinky finger. And that's what most of the verse is. Something along those lines. The G's into your first and second fingers pronouncing a C inside of that G. A change that happens in the verses is that it also goes to an A minor, like every other time. So at the G's, it'll go to an A minor. You may want to pick up your first finger in that A minor to expose an open second string from time to time. And then it does this. at some point, not necessarily after the first A minor, but after the G's and A minor rounds, it eventually ascends like. Here's how you play that. So coming out of one of those verse A minors, you're going to pluck your A minor chord where you've got your second finger on the 4th string 2nd fret. You're going to pluck that 2nd fret 4th string with your 2nd finger and slide it up 2 frets to the relative 4th fret. And then after you slide it up, you're going to take your 1st finger, which you should have freed up out of this A minor, and you're going to lay it down on the 2nd string 3rd fret. So you've got from the A minor, and then the next thing is really the same feel of slide pluck. You're going to go back to where you've got your 2nd finger on now the 4th string 4th fret, and you're going to slide it up 1 fret to the 5th fret, and you're going to take now your ring finger and place it down on the 2nd string 5th fret. So you go from your A minor shape to, and then along the relative 5th fret, and then you take these 2 fingers right here and just move them up another 2 frets, sliding with your 2nd finger like you've been doing all along. So 2nd finger, pluck it, slide it up now to the, where we at, relative 7th fret, and then behind it, pluck the 2nd string with your ring finger on it, on the relative 7th fret, and that comes together out of the A minor like. And then, and I think this is kind of leading into the chorus, it goes to a C chord. The way that I'm making the C chord, I'm playing a 4-fingered C chord. I've got my ring finger on the 6th string 3rd fret. I've got my pinky finger on the 5th string 3rd fret. I've got my 2nd finger on the 4th string 2nd fret. I've got an open 3rd string. I've got my 1st finger on the 2nd string 1st fret, and I've got an open 1st string. So that's my C chord. And then you can hear this chord tonality change a little bit. Pick up your 1st finger off of the 2nd string and let that open 2nd string ring out whenever you hear that tonality change, whenever it gets to the do, 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 do. And then back into the verses on the G's. Alright, another change that you hear kind of going into a bridge, it goes. The way that I'm playing this, and I'm not 100% sure that this is exactly the fingerings that are being played, but it gets the sound that I think is appropriate. So out of your G chord, I'm going to leave my ring finger on the 6th string 3rd fret. I'm going to bring my pinky finger and put it on the 4th string 3rd fret. Your 2nd string will be muted out by how you're laying your ring finger. So I've got 6th string 3rd fret with ring finger, 4th string 3rd fret with pinky finger. Then I'm going to take my 1st finger and put it up on the 2nd string 1st fret. And then everything else can ring out except for your 5th string that you've got muted out. So that's the first part of this bridgy part of the song. And then out of that you can go into a C chord, and then into the G chord. And I think that part repeats. So this is kind of like, it's a type of an F chord, but it's not a full-throated F. And then into the C again, and then in the G. Now coming out of the, I think, 2nd round of this, it will go into a full-throated F chord. The way that I'm playing this, and this is kind of an odd shape, but this is a comfortable way for me to play an F. I've got my thumb wrapped around on the 6th string 1st fret. I've got my ring finger on the 5th string 3rd fret. I've got my pinky finger on the 4th string 3rd fret. I've got my 2nd finger on the 3rd string 2nd fret. I've got my 1st finger on the 2nd string 1st fret. And then sometimes if this high E rings out, it's not a huge deal, or the high 1st string ringing out, it's not a huge deal. If it's not in at all, also not a huge deal. If this is too fingery of a chord for you, you can always play an F bar chord, which you may be more familiar with. But so, coming out of the kind of more gentle F chord, C chord, G chord, it goes into a more full-throated F chord, which I'm playing like this. Then it goes into the full C again, and then into the G. It does that for like 2 rounds. And then it goes, like the last time, instead of going to the C, it goes to an A minor. And coming out of that A minor, if I remember correctly, it does this walk up again, which you can refer back to that earlier part of the video to see how that's done. And those are all of the chords for this Leon Bridges song, Beyond.